The Chargers just put out their 53-man roster. So let's talk a little bit about it, and let's just go ahead and get into it, boys. Bo Bros.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm Deion Henley. You watching the Bo Bros podcast? Let's do it!
Still love that intro.
Still great intro. It always makes me laugh every time. Hopefully we can do a new one every single time we're at the camp every single year. So that'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
But let's show a little bit of this roster and start talking about it, guys. I mean, it's kind of a fun one to be able to look at, and there's a lot of cuts, and obviously tomorrow is when the practice squad will be built and start signing and everything like that. So obviously we'll keep you updated on that. So let's start here with quarterbacks. Obviously, we already talked about Max being Max is gone. We'll see if he comes back or practice squad. But obviously, Justin Herbert, you're not going to cut a $262 million guy. Impossible. And then you got obviously Easton Stick from there. So I don't think there's much to talk about in that. Outside of Andrew, your video that you just did about Max basically getting let go, and then Will. Who was it? What was the other quarterback? Will Grier?
Yeah, Will Grier. Yeah, Will Grier is another option, right? I will say this, like the thing about Will Grier, he did really well. I think he had a really high passer. I think he was a 102 in preseason. So he had a really good, PFF score. So looked really good. So I would think some teams would probably go after him. We'll see if the Chargers do. I mean, you never know, right? I mean, we released all these players, and then we have an opportunity to bring them back, right? So those are the conversations. They got to clear waivers. Other teams have an opportunity to grab them. That's one thing I do like about the NFL, right? Everyone has an opportunity to grab other teams and get better. So also, guys, leave your questions and comments in the chat. We'll get to it. We're just going to go through the entire roster, and then we'll just go through questions. So throw your questions out there as soon as possible.
Let's move on to the next, official 53-man here. I don't think we got too much to talk on there. Now, so running backs, here we go.
Yep.
You got Elijah Dotson, just like what we talked about, guys.
Yes. He's going supersonic, baby.
Yeah,
supersonic, baby.
Supersonic. Isn't that like a song from the 70s, 80s or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Supersonic. Yeah, it is. It is.
That's a great song. So, I mean, obviously, Austin Eckler, Josh O'Kelly, Isaiah Spiller, those are the locks for us.
Yep.
Elijah Dotson, man. I mean, the thing is, though, we as all as fans, just right from the get-go of that Rams game, you're just like, whoa, what is this dude doing? Second game, a little shaky. Third game, had a nice, consistent game, caught balls, ran the ball really well. This is about the future, in my opinion, why they wanted to be able to get Elijah Dotson. Now, once again, 53-man roster right now this is where it's set right now. Who knows? We're going to pick up on waivers or anything like that. Remember last year when Fehoko got on the squad and then all of a sudden he got dropped before week one kind of thing.
Yep.
Who knows where it's going to be, but I think they really wanted to protect Elijah Dotson, bottom line.
Yeah.
They know who he is.
Well, the other thing too is Kellen Moore did talk about, then this is a good reason. Moore said he wants a multi-pronged attack to jumpstart the run game. I will say this, we might see a lot of 2 running back sets. So I could see Elijah, and guys, we haven't even seen our offense. We haven't really seen our offense. Preseason is very base offense, right? You do see normal defense, not necessarily blitzes. But what we are going to establish as an offense, we haven't fully seen yet underneath Herbert, right? We all know he's going to audible and really control the offense. So, there's clearly a method to the madness here, but 4 running backs is what they wanted to go with. I think Elijah Dotson also would be playing special teams to some degree. He'll be a backup to Darius Davis, which is good.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the next piece. Eckler. Okay, well, we got Xander. Oh, and we got a wide receiver. So let's talk about Xander.
Yeah.
Fullback. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to make the roster. I actually thought I didn't think he was going to make it. What do you guys think?
Yep, totally didn't think he was going to make it. I think it's all special teams move, in my opinion. If you looked at a lot of the preseason games, he was generally one of the first couple guys that are right near the guy punting, returning the ball, or whatnot. So I think that's more a special teams because obviously they make decisions not based upon their position, but also special teams. So Xander has done a pretty good job on special teams. So I think that's kind of why he's on there. But once again, maybe there's short yardage situations, which a lot of people are talking about out there. that they feel very good about Xander taking. So interesting move, in my opinion.
I don't know. I had no question in my mind that Xander was going to make it. I mean,
really,
we've been
he was looking yoked in the offseason, though. He was working
he's
it out.
always been yoked, man. Man,
well,
see that guy's like straight up motivation on the Instagram posts and stuff. I'm
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Shoot,
He is.
But no,
Yeah,
but
well,
I mean, like, I feel like honestly, yeah, special teams for sure. That's where he kind of shines right now. But Kellen Moore is probably going to be using him more as a fullback this year, I believe. So, I mean, at least I hope, anyways. So I'm excited for that. So I had no question he was going to make it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did. It was more just the fact is that he typically doesn't use fullbacks, right? He uses more tight end heavy stuff, right? So, in fact, I'm not even sure how many tight ends we have, so that'll be interesting to take a look at that as well too. Now, This is interesting. Only 5 wide receivers. I thought we were going to have 6.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to me. I did not expect that, but because I thought Keelan Doss was going to make it, and I thought maybe Hightower, but both of them. Doss looks like he's going to be potentially picked up on the practice squad. Hightower is. I guess I don't know. We'll see how it works. So we'll keep you posted on what happens with Hightower.
Yeah, and I heard the rumors are that Hightower was basically obviously waived, but also at the same side, we told him he's not going to sign him to the practice squad too, which is kind of wild to hear.
Yeah.
They said they're going to sign Doss to the practice squad. Now we'll see where that leads.
What?
At that point, so.
Bear Nips, hey, whatever you smoking today, man, you better smoke up pass, bro. Shoot.
Bear
right.
Nips, hey, he could run around. I mean, that's about it. But, that's about it. Jeez.
Shoot.
I like it, Bear Nips.
But I think Darius Davis is going to be used a little bit more. I think Quentin will come on towards the end, and Josh Palmer looks great. These 5 are great.
Yep.
I think they are going to rotate through them a lot. And again, with Jalen Guyton out, he'll probably be back week 6 after the bye week is what I'm assuming. It sounds like that's probably what they're slated him for, but we'll see. But guys, also smash that like as well too, and subscribe. Also, throw your questions out as well. We'll get to all your thoughts in this. We just want to go through this real quick. This is our first time seeing this, by the way. First time seeing this. So this is our initial reaction. We'll probably do some follow-up videos on it as well too. So okay, let's go to wide receivers.
No peeking for us.
Let's go to Gerald Everett. We got tight ends. So we got 4 tight ends. Okay, Stone Smart did make it. Okay, I like this.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Love to see that. Yeah,
great move. Like I kept my eye on Stone Smart the entire preseason. As I kept seeing him more and more and more, the guy has a solid blocker. If you look at say for instance that Joshua Kelly run, basically was a lead blocker in motion at that point. Looks really good. Good hands. I think some people talk about that we don't got depth at tight end. I think we got a lot of depth at tight end.
Yeah, we're fine.
And I think we're fine. Kellen Moore likes to use 2 tight end sets. Having 4 makes a lot of sense to me. I could see Stone Smart being kind of a lead blocker for us and potential just kind of a drop off kind of pass kind of guy, little dump off pass kind of position. So I'm excited for him. Obviously, Parham, great for the red zone. Trey McKitty has been doing good for the blocking side of things. Hoping he does better in the passing game. And then Gerald Everett's been really, really good and rock solid for the last couple of years. So I think we're good.
And Smart did a great job of doing the lead block for that 75-yard run.
Exactly.
Joshua Kelly.
For Joshua Kelly, he did an amazing job with that block. And so, dude, he's a former quarterback, right? Yeah. And I mean, guys, the fact that he's doing it is amazing, right? And so, look, again, the tight ends in under Moore's offense have to be able to block, right? Now, Gerald Everett's probably the exception. He's more of a wide receiver, right? So I kind of look at him as a wide receiver and really 3 tight end. Don't get me wrong, he's still going to be a tight end, but my point is these really are getting, these are the guys that are going to have to block a little more frequently, especially Trey McKitty, right? That's really the only reason why he's there.
Agreed.
Okay. So offensive line. Now I thought this was a little strange. I didn't think we needed 9 offensive linemen. That seemed a little weird to me. I thought maybe 8, but 9 seems like a lot to me. I don't know. I mean, I guess I get it, right? Maybe some guys for special teams and a few other things, right? And that's probably why they're there, but no real surprise here. By the way, Jordan McFadden has looked absolutely amazing in camp.
Yep.
I mean, everyone looks pretty good. I mean, this is good. I'm excited. I do think they're going to get Bailey on the practice squad. At least that seems to be the rumor, but we'll see how that plays out tomorrow.
The Brennan Hymus one throws me
Hymas.
off a bit.
Yep.
Like the thing about this kind of position with Brandon Hymas, I think they're trying to put him in more as like a center base position, guard type position, and they're kind of flexing him back and forth. They're trying to get versatility at him. I guess they saw enough out of him, and that Zach Bailey didn't do enough, which Zach Bailey, I think, had one of the better rankings as a guard throughout the whole entire preseason games. It's kind of wild to let him see him walk a little bit. I don't understand that, in my opinion, but there is a side that Brandon Hymas, as a draft pick by Telesco and by, Staley, I think they just don't like to find ways to not allow a guy to be on the team. And they don't want to show off a failure in a sense.
100%.
And I'm not saying there's a failure as in Brandon Hymas. I just think that in the sense they don't want to say, well, we admit a mistake for, not getting the right guy in the right spot, but they just did that to Max and they cut Max basically. So I don't know, maybe I'm a little off on that, but GMs don't generally like to say, hey, we didn't choose the right guy at this position. And they're just trying to run him a little bit more.
Too. Yeah. The other thought is Moore does a lot of, he'll bring in an extra lineman and line up in the backfield like a fullback and do more lead blocking that way. So they want to go a specific way, right? So they do that quite often. Well, they did it a lot up at in Dallas, right? So whether they do that, again, we have not seen our offense, folks. We have not seen our offense. And if you watch, oh my gosh, what's that guy? What's that video? Why am I drawing like Peter King interview?
Peter King.
Yeah. So basically what's going to happen offensively, Herbert is going to have a formation. Then he will have a list of plays that he can run at any given moment. And he can audible and check to a run or a pass, depending on what he sees defensively, right? So in essence, he's going to be running the offense on the field, which is great. So he'll have a lot of options to audible and change the play depending on what the defense throws at us, which I think is amazing, right? So, and you're right, Guyton's out. He's on the PUP list. He probably won't come back until like the sixth, week 6.
It's a 4-game wait period.
4 game, yes, but then we have our bye week on the 5th week, right? So it would be the 6th week would probably be the soonest he would come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Makes
well,
sense.
that's like even to say a contingency if he actually his knee is 100% at that time too. So
Correct.
But I would say that Brandon Hymas' position is one that could flex a little bit with something that happens with a pickup or a waiver pickup of some sort. So
I agree.
Keep an eye out on that.
Yeah, and tomorrow, again, we should probably go live tomorrow too when we get the idea of whatever the practice squad is. I do think that's the practice squad is going to be really interesting, folks, right? Because there's a lot of players that are not on this list. I think that I'm really curious if they end up on our practice squad. And guys, smash that like button and keep throwing your questions out. We're going to go through this whole thing, and then we're just going to go through questions, okay?
Yeah.
And have a good discussion.
Well, I would just say, the reason why we have 9 linemen, though, boys, hey, we got butt and gut, man. They need to take some breaks every once.
Gut.
Hey, they got to take some breaks every once in a while, So, that's why we got 9 people. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. But I mean, it's good to be able to essentially have 2 offensive lines, almost in a sense. Like we almost have a 1 and a 2 squad here at this point. And
correct.
Last year we had Slater go down. We had Trey Pipkins with some injuries too. I don't even want to talk about it. I shouldn't even say that word or anything. I don't want to put no voodoo hex out there or anything like that. But bottom line, we need to make sure we have the guys in play here. Zach Bailey, to me, I think is one guy is a necessity to be able to have on that practice squad. Because I think he did a phenomenal job in preseason. So, we'll see where he goes.
Yeah, and smash that like and button, folks, when you get a second. Okay, so let's talk about the defense real quick. And by the way, I'll give one last thought too. I think Will Clapp and Brent Hymas will probably do more on special teams, right? They'll probably be more like special teamers, like specialists in that regard. So like kickoffs, field goals.
Yep.
They're going to use those guys. They're not using Zion Johnson, Corey Lindsley. They're not doing those. Those guys are not out there for those plays, right?
Nope.
So they're backups, but they're also special teams. Guys, remember, there's all 3 phases of the game. They all matter, and that's just how people make the squad. Really, again, good point with Elijah Dotson before we move on. Probably the biggest reason why he also made the squad is because he's going to be the backup punt returner, plus he does give some flexibility in the run game, which I think is good. So, you can't be a one-trick pony on an NFL team. That's the one thing that I've learned. You cannot be a one-trick pony. Look at Jordan McFadden. The guy can play any position on the line, any position.
It's beautiful, right? Jamari's the same thing too. Awesome. Obviously, what he did with us left tackle, and now he's in guard. So it's
100%.
You got to have flexibility.
You do. No one trick ponies, boys. All right. So let's look at the defense. No real surprise here for me. This is about what I thought it would be. Hinton is what, 22, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a younger guy, I mean, David Moa didn't make the squad. Obviously, Gerard Clark didn't make the squad in
Yep.
that
Yep.
sense. Like, that's kind of wild. But at the same side, that all makes sense. Those are guys that we've paid. Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, obviously Scott Matlock, the soul taker. He's here to take people's jobs, right? And
I like him.
Nick Williams,
Yeah.
that was a very under the radar signing in our opinion. That guy's a big dude. Like, he's big.
Yeah.
Big dude. So I that all makes sense to me. Gerard Clark, I would assume, would be a guy that would find his way on our practice squad. Moa will be an interesting one because that was a late signing for us last year.
Yep.
And I think he gelled really well with Scott Matlock, by the way, too. Two Boise State guys.
Yep.
Boise State boys.
Boise State boys.
You boys. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with those couple other players. But this doesn't surprise me too much at all. These all makes pretty good sense for us.
The only one would be Hinton for me, but I will say this. It makes sense. He did play well last season. I think, and Brandon Staley's talked quite a bit about Christopher Hinton. He went to Michigan. He played really good at the end of last season because we were also banged up like you wouldn't believe, right? But 100%. Nick Williams, watch out for this guy, dude. Watch out for this guy. I think he's going to be very good. Austin Johnson, well, it looks to me like he's probably going to be playing. I know we were kind of concerned about that, but it sounds like he's going to be playing, which is good to know. So Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, that's pretty much going to be the starting rotation, I would say, on the defensive line. And then you're going to rotate these people through. So,
in the fluid position there would be Hinton for Otito when he's ready to roll.
Correct. And that'll be interesting to see what happens with the roster at that moment when Tito comes back. So I'm very curious about that. Tito was killing it, by the way.
He was doing great.
Man, he and Austin Johnson went down in that Niners game. I don't know what the hell happened in that game. We lost 2 defensive linemen that game. Out for the season, by the way. That one game. So, yeah, anyways, very interesting.
Yeah, and actually one person there too, Anthony, I said, did Okoye make it? And I just put in the chat, he probably will be on the practice squad. Like, he's kind of a lock on practice squad pretty much.
Yep, 100%.
So he will be there.
Yeah, as I understand it, because he's in the international program, it's a guaranteed spot for him on the practice squad. So, 100%. Yeah. Got the Bolt Babes in the house. What's up, ladies? How we doing?
Hey.
Yeah. Hey. So, I like it. Okay, so let's see what's next. Ooh, linebackers: Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Rump Shaker, and Tuli Pelotu.
you almost got it that time.
Tuli Pelotu. I got it.
No, you said Tuli. No, it's Tui Pelotu.
Tuli. I said it right.
Pelotu.
Hey, open up your ears.
Let's just skip you to Tuli. Hey, we got that.
I got the microphone directly in my ears right now. So
But no real surprises here, though, guys. I will say this: the 2 guys that I do want, and I do think they'll go to the practice squad, is Farmer and Brevin Allen. I think those 2 guys are absolute freaks of nature, and they need a little bit of refinement, much like a CJ Okoye. But dude, those guys are freaking big, and we don't know what's going to happen. Bosa and Mack, I think they could be some good depth pieces. So we'll see what happens with those guys. I'm really hoping we sign them to the practice squad. Anyways.
Yep. That'll be something we'll chat about tomorrow too, guys. We'll go live on that tomorrow also.
For it. Yes. Yeah, but I mean, no real surprise here. I will say this. I would like to see Rumph do well this season. I feel like he's struggling. He does okay, but Tuli, I think, is going to be absolutely amazing. He'll be good. He'll be good to go.
He went from asparagus to celery stalk to what is he at now? I don't know. What is he? A broccoli stem? I don't know.
Or a carrot?
Carrot? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and again, I get one thing that I will say this one thing Mack and Bosa have said a number of times, guys. It's not just about getting sacks. It's also about setting the edge.
Yep.
It's also about stopping the run. Mack and Bosa are very good at both of those things, right? Stopping the run, setting the edge, and helping the corners defend the edges, right? So that's where Rumph has always struggled. If you recall last season when Bosa went down and Rumph came in, man, they ran to his side all the time. They just ran over him. So you won't get that with Tuli though, which is nice. So I would suspect you'll see Tuli get moved around on both sides when Mack and Bosa need to take a breather. But I think Rumph will kind of be he'll come in, sparingly is my opinion. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see the actual depth chart and where they seed everybody at. So I'm interested to see that for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the linebackers. No real surprise here. I will say this. This looks a lot like Nick Neiman and Ogbug.
Don't even
whatever.
try.
Ogbongbemia, I think is how you say it. There you go.
I always say it wrong.
I think they call it OG all the time. They say Amen OG
okay.
or something like that.
I like that.
It's easier
Special
to work
teams
with.
guys right here. Special team dudes right here.
Yep.
You know, with Xander Horvath. Remember, Xander was a linebacker. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Xander was a linebacker. So Nick and Amen are definitely special team folks.
It's Ogbongbemia.
Oh, is it?
That's how you say it. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Ogbongbemia.
Ogbongbemia.
Dude,
and again, guys, throw out your questions. Throw out your questions. We're going to get through. As soon as we're done with the actual 53-man roster, we're going to go to your questions. So throw them out.
Yep.
Eighth or toss it out.
It is interesting to see how many inside linebackers we did end up going with. 5 is actually a lot heavier than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
But
you obviously have your 3, your Diane, your Dan Henley, your Eric Kendricks, Kenneth Murray, locks. Nick Neiman to me is one of those guys that I was really hoping for to be able to kind of step up bigger this year. So I think he's got a chance. But Amen has actually done a pretty good job. OG Bong Big Mia, the Mia.
Yeah.
I can't even say that, guys.
Sound it out right here. Sound it out.
Sound it out.
Ogbog Ben Mia, Miga. Yeah.
5 syllables. Sounds like. Playing charades over here. Okay, here we go.
Hooking on phonics working for me.
Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that. I'm over here having a mild stroke. Leave me alone. Let me do my thing.
Thanks, Carlos.
Oh, jeez. Right.
But it's a good little squad. It's a good thing. I was gonna say Blake Lynch is one guy that I think he's considered as an inside linebacker. I'm not 100% sure if he's outside or not, but basically I thought he was having a pretty good preseason, and then he ended up getting injured. I'm assuming that he's probably got a little bit harder of an injury, but I hope to see him and kind of get an update from him.
Yeah, and so it looks to me like in this article, according to Eric Smith, Dayon, Nick, and OG are going to be special teams players, which makes sense. I will say this. I've been watching tape on Dayon Henley.
Gosh,
he is a straight up freak of nature. And I'll tell you, guys, we need to see how long Kenneth Murray can even hold his spot. I think he's going to be on a short leash, folks.
Yes, sir.
Short leash. I do not suspect. Hey, ain't nobody got time for that. Remember that meme? Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right.
K9, dude. Like, hey, we didn't sign his 5th-year contract. I think Dayon outplayed him a ton. So we'll see. We'll see, folks.
Yeah,
actually, Dayon was actually PFF's highest rated linebacker from this class for this preseason. So
and during 100% in preseason too.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I don't think Dayon Henley's gonna be only special teams for long. Not at all.
No.
Yeah, I think he's got a good chance.
Again, we'll see, right? Again, but this is 5 linebackers because of special teams. I get it, but it seems pretty heavy to me too. But again, you got to remember, again, Brandon said always talks about defense, special teams, and offense, right? So they're all 3 phases of the game. They all matter. They're all important, and that's how we're constructing a roster, right? So, I know there's one person I think on this list. Yeah, here we go. Oh, not this one. Okay, defensive backs.
Defensive back. Here you go.
Look at that. And again, more special teams here too, folks, right? So, wow, Davis. Now, this one right here. I talked about my boy AJ Finley. People,
that's right.
Hey, these both of these guys went to Ole Miss. AJ Finley and Dean Leonard. They went to Ole Miss. AJ Finley's what, 6'2"?
Yeah.
He's 210, something like that. He's about the same size as JT Woods, maybe a little smaller, but very fast. And he made it. Undrafted free agent, folks. Great story. Great story.
Awesome.
Again, Mike Davis was undrafted free agent as well.
Yep.
The crazy part of it is.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Taiwan Mullen didn't make it, which, Asante was kind of talking quite a bit about him.
Yep.
Raheem Lane made it over Mark Webb. So, wow. Like our defensive, our safeties, free safeties are all set in this group with our defensive backs being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive backs as a team. So we only went with basically, 2 safeties, 2 free safeties. That's it.
Yep.
So, wow. Kind of crazy to see. Kind of crazy, man. AJ Finley found a way. He found a way.
He's good. He's a ball hawk. He's very good. And
Yeah.
Look, Raheem Lane is great at special teams. He made some great plays. That's why he's here. I think AJ Finley's the same. I think he did well being a gunner, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Leonard, Derwin James says he's one of the fastest guys on the team. I don't know if you know that or not. He says he's one of the fastest dudes.
Yep.
And he's from Canada, which is kind of weird, but okay, we'll take it.
Kind of weird. Hey, Joshua Palmer's from Canada too.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. I got a bunch of cards. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I was like picking on Canada. It's no big deal. But anyways, Leonard's solid, bro. He's looking good. Look, I'm happy with this. This is good. Shows depth.
Yep.
And guys, think about this though. I was watching the Broncos. They have a ton of injuries in preseason, a ton.
Yep.
And look, we've had no injuries for the most part. We are going to go in week 1, 100% healthy, which is incredible to me. And so
love it.
Hyped.
Yep.
Our new,
even to say the end of that Niner game, what did the Niners end up doing with 1:11 left? They just decided to kneel it, call it a preseason.
Yep.
These players don't want these guys to get injured by any means. And so I think it's all around exciting to think that we're going to go in week 1 feeling really good. So
yeah,
I
do like maple syrup. I do. Full disclosure, I like maple syrup. That's fine.
I saw something recently that they call mac and cheese something totally different out there. It's not like Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's some weird name. And I was like, wow, it's so weird. Like Sour Patch Kids are called something totally different out there too. And you're like, what is going on out there, man? Why do you guys have different names for things?
Yeah, just watch South Park. South Park, they got Canada figured out. Anyways.
They got to figure it out. This guy, dude.
Yeah. All right, so, and this is pretty much the last one. We'll get to your questions, guys. Specialist Cameron Dicker, Josh Harris, J.K. Scott. We all know what happened there, right? Makes sense. Yep. Look, I don't know. I feel pretty good about everything, folks. I mean, this is good stuff. Okay. I think JC will start. I do think he's going to be fine. I'm not seeing anybody saying he will not. So let's scroll all the way back up here and start working on some questions, folks. The
thing about JC, like in my opinion, and how they're going to start him, they're going to probably rotate people in and out with them a lot. I'd probably assume Asante would probably rotate a little bit in with him, going from the star money position out to cornerback. They might just kind of push him in and out, probably based upon situational things too. But I mean, the thing is though, he didn't get thrown on the pup, so they're saying he's healthy. So
yeah, I think, and the one thing that I've learned thus far this season too, we are really quiet about injuries, right? We're not talking about them at all. We are not saying anything, which maybe that's why we got a new strength and conditioning coach, right? I think we want to keep things quiet. We don't want the league to know what's going on with us, and keep our business to our business. We don't need our dirty laundry thrown out there. No, come on now. Okay. Hitting over Clark. Look, I think Clark will. Well, we're going to try and put him on the practice squad. You never know if that happens. Let me get one thought about the practice squad real quick, guys. Just real fast. Brandon Staley brought this up last season when we had all these injuries and we're trying to go out and get players like the defensive line. We got David Moe and a few other people. Historically, NFL teams don't like getting people from other teams only because they don't know that team, right? They don't know that playbook. They don't understand the scheme they're running, and it's hard for them to just jump in and just work. Right? They've already been through camp. There's already a culture created. Is that person going to fit in? It's not like baseball. Baseball, you're throwing curveballs, you're throwing fastballs, you're a shortstop. You kind of play on an island to some degree, but it's a little different in football to step in and just be kind of a mid-season pickup. So a lot of times you can re-sign people that you want to go after. So I'm very curious to see how that is. I think Clark will be a guy that gets re-signed, but we'll see what happens. Maybe James or Kai want to talk about Michael and Luis Walker's question here about the right side of the O-line, Pipkins and Sawyer. I'm out there playing. Hey. The Sawyer bros are out there playing.
Yeah, let's go.
Probably
right. We're gonna get destroyed. We're gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
I know. I've been out there practicing with Bosa. Like he's just tossing me around.
The right side of the line is an interesting one for us. I mean, and I think their thoughts is Pipkins is going to be. He had a little bit of I think it might have been a groin issue in training camp, but he seemed like he came out no problem and played. Then you got Foster out there who has done well enough, but I think their idea is also they could put, which I believe they did, either put him at left tackle or right tackle, but put Jordan McFadden on the edges also too. So I think they want to see how versatile he could be as a player. And I think they're feeling confident enough with him potentially being a third right tackle or whatnot if necessary. Obviously, we don't want to get to that point, but we might have another Jamari Sawyer on our hands at this point.
And we might see some really large jumbo sets. If you saw quite a few of them in preseason, you saw a lot of butt and gut on that line, just smashing the ball down their throats. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I'm again, folks, we have not seen our offense at this point. We have not seen it. We've seen very much base offense,
glimpses of it.
Yeah, glimpses, correct. Yeah, and again, one thing that Kellen Moore did talk about. He said, "Look, we're going to develop a identity in the run game. I think a lot of that's going to be motion, play action. A lot of sweep looks. Yada yada. Right. So it'll be pretty interesting." And Aether is not happy. We didn't go with 6 wide receivers. Didn't we learn anything from last year? I do think they're going to try and put Das on the practice squad, and it sounds like they said they don't want Hightower, which kind of blows me away. You got to wonder what's going to happen there. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out. I would suspect that they're going to try and go get a wide receiver somewhere else. I think it would be nice to have at least 7 available, but we'll see.
Yep, we will see. I mean, the thing about it is some people in the comments talked about that. They said, hey, look, we don't have enough speed. What's our speed guy? Darius Davis is essentially our speed guy right now. Not saying that Quentin Johnston doesn't have speed, because I mean,
he's very fast.
Combine, I think they put him at like 4.49. I think there are some people that said he was more in the lower 4s. So I don't know. We really haven't had a lot of speed guys for a bit, but we'll see what Jalen Guyton's going to be able to come back here and potentially be that extra speed guy for us. So we'll see.
Yeah, and again, Duggan, who knows? He's still could get signed to the practice squad. They are going to sign a quarterback, I would assume. Now, the question is, do they go with Duggan or do they go with somebody else? I think that's the only question that's going to be figured out. We're going to track and monitor that, folks. If something breaks, we will let you guys know for sure. So we'll keep you posted on all that.
I'm probably like 90% sure that he's going to get on the practice squad, though. So, that's probably why they released him early, so that way they can actually get him on the squad earlier. So,
correct.
Yeah.
Totally.
It makes sense, right? And again, I think he's good. He's very good. He's got great wheels. I do like to see. And QJ, a lot of people are freaking ripping on QJ. I have no idea why, dude. If you watch my video, the thing about QJ is he gets open. He knows how to get open in the zones, and he sits. That's 90% of it, right? Catching the ball, he'll be fine, right? He hits a jug machine. I know Antonio Gates was catching tennis balls. Like, these are all things that you can do, to improve that side of your game. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Just wait to see 4 wide receiver sets. How do you match up to that, guys? Like, that's going to be insane. You Palmer, Allen,
plus 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
Plus 2 tight ends. Yep.
I mean, it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild to see, guys.
Yeah, and Bear Nips. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Bear Nips. Interesting. Get to see some football. Herbert's going to slang the rock. MVP season, folks. MVP season.
Yep. And we are going to run week 1 too to watch it all go down, man. I can't wait. Week 1 to be at SoFi.
And we are going to run 2 more tight end sets. I think that's a big reason. Well, again, we will see, but I do think that's going to be a big part of what we're doing, right? 11 and 12 man personnel, right? So. Deep ball guy right now would be Darius Davis and Q, I would say. And also Mike Williams. Mike Williams isn't really a speedy guy.
Yeah.
But I do think those are the 3 right now. And then Guyton comes back, right? I think we have plenty of speed. We're fine. We're fine speed wise. So
I think we're good. And remember, going back to this, Quentin Johnston was actually one of the top yak receivers in college football, by the way, too, guys. So and I do think that Kellen Moore is designing a lot of plays to create yak for a lot of our players. If you've even seen him preseason and in camp, Keenan Allen was getting a lot of downfield passes, and he's not going to be just a straight slot guy for us like he was in the last couple of years. So there's going to be some interesting adjustments with our wide receivers this year. So I think Kellen Moore is putting players in winning positions.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what a good offensive coordinator does. Why McKitty? I was at spring training, but not much about McKitty. If he's an effective blocker, that makes sense. But if not, let him go. He is an effective blocker. At least
I think that's where he shines. Yeah.
But he has made some bad drops. So has Chicken Parm, right? So you got to wonder how that's going to play out as well too. So yeah, I mean that's a.
What are we, Night of the Roxbury over here?
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm going the wrong way. Hey,
we got to cue up that song.
Yeah, joke.
Yeah, and Darius Davis is that speed guy, man. He's sick, dude. He's sick. So, look, and again, we talked about the O-line a little bit. I think the O-line is going to be fine. I really do think we're going to be okay. We're going to be fine.
I think we'll be fine.
Now, Aether brings up a good point. We're going to run a lot of nickel and dime, so you need 10 defensive backs, folks, right? It is not. We're going to run a lot of nickel and dime, which means you're going to run just a very light box, and then you're going to have a lot of defensive backs. You want speed back there to pick the ball off in the air. It's going to be a big part of what we're going to do this year in defense. Yep. And Okoye most likely will be on the practice squad. Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. Hey, thank you. Yes. I like it.
Look at that.
I like to rock out.
If she got that at the concert, that would have probably been like an $80 t-shirt, dude.
Yeah. I'm a medium husky. Okay. No, large is perfect. Medium husky. Hymas making the roster, but maybe just a temporary placeholder. Yeah, I would say that could be true. Actually, there was a guy on, was it on the Eagles? I'm drawing a blank on his name, another lineman. That we really wanted. A lot of fans wanted him in the preseason. We didn't get him, but he got released by the Eagles today. So, very interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah, there was a guy that a lot of Charger fans apparently were wanting to go after. It was Dennis Kelly.
Dennis Kelly, that's right. Yep.
So who knows?
And again, make no mistake about this, folks. Tom Telesco was very clear about this. He's like, look, yes, we're evaluating our players, but we're looking at every other team's players as well, because if they get released, we want to scoop them up. So I promise you they're going to be heavy on the waiver wire. So more information is going to come. If something pops up, we'll throw something out there as well too, just so you guys know. Thank you, Bolt Babes. I appreciate that. Like and subscribe if you can. And we are ready for September 8th. We are going to be there. The Bolt Bros will be there, so we'd definitely love to see you there at the game for sure, folks.
We are excited. Yeah, September 8th. That's the Chiefs-Lions game. So we'll be there for September 10th at SoFi, I believe it is. Is it September 10th? Man, my date's wrong. 10th. Yeah. Hopefully I got the right ticket. Hopefully I bought the right ticket, dude.
October. You're flying out in October.
Yeah, dang it. I got October. Oh, dang it.
Well, here's the schedule right there. It's on the ticker right there.
There we go. There we go.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Check out the schedule. Yeah, and D-Haas, it'll be interesting to see what we do with Xander. I do think they could use him in a couple different ways. We'll have to see. Okay, so maybe James or Kyle take this one here. Can name anyone player that started in the practice squad ended up having a killer career? Well,
I don't know any people off the top of my head, but I guarantee it's happened before. Yeah, actually, wasn't Austin Eckler? Was he? No, he was undrafted, but I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was just on practice squad before that.
Yeah, I don't know. I want first thought I want to say is Kurt Warner, but because he was initially undrafted with the Packers. Now once again, if he's talking about just our team, but I want to say it might have been Kurt Warner, but he had definitely a different type of history of trying to find a way onto an NFL squad at some point. So Kurt Warner, I want to say, might be a guy that went from practice squad to a Hall of Fame career, basically. So that's the only guy I could think of that went from zero to hero, basically.
Yeah, and Antoine talks about the strength and conditioning coach. James, I know you did a video on him. You want to give them a little idea on our strength and conditioning coach?
Yeah, obviously we got Mr. Lopez that we got from the Titans, who has done pretty well so far for us. I feel that one thing that is different is we're a little bit more quiet about our injuries. I think we're being a lot more. I think Staley is getting a lot more information from this team. I don't know if there was just a major disconnect from last year's conditioning squad, but at the moment, you like to see the results. I mean, we're looking good. We're looking healthy. We're going into week 1 for once looking really, really good. And I love seeing kind of where we're sitting at this moment. So, far, so good.
Yeah. And Sorrell over Bailey. Yeah. I think he's looked good at times too. Bailey, I think is a little raw, but Bailey did very well in preseason. So we'll see. Practice squad for sure is where they want to put him. Okay. So Aether thinks that, K9 will ball out. I hope he does. I does. I mean, it's his 5th year.
So too, man. Yeah.
He's got to do it, right? Be interesting to see about Alohi as well, too. I haven't seen much about him as well as far as his knees concerned. Interesting to see if he'll be ready to go week 1. If not, we have JT Woods. JT Woods has looked pretty good. Yep. He's looking pretty good.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, Palmer's Canadian. Don't remind me. No. Yeah, I think we're going to beat Miami. Bottom line, Miami's a great team. Don't get me wrong, but I do think the Chargers, I think we're going to show the league some pretty interesting things, right? I think Staley and Moore are going to cook up some really interesting. Moore's completely unleashed. Just so you know, when he was in Dallas, there was definitely an opportunity. Well, they definitely limited what he could do offensively. Brandon Staley's like, nah, wheels are off. Just do whatever you want to do. Go for it. So,
yeah, you got to love that, man. I mean, the thing is, McCarthy probably held him back a little bit in Dallas. And the thing is, though, he actually was under 2 different head coaches over there and still had top offenses in the league. So, I mean, I'm excited to see Kellen Moore, what he could do for the Chargers and with Justin Herbert specifically. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dotson, he seems explosive. Yes, he does. Kelly looks great too. Yeah. I think right now, I think we're going to, again, guys, it's not just the running back running the ball. It's also about the line opening up holes. It's also about them going to the next level, hitting the linebackers, creating seams, right? If you go back and see that Joshua Kelly, long run, it didn't happen because he was really that effective. It was because the line opened up, right? So, say what you want to say about the running back, but the offensive line has to do the majority of the work to get that guy open. They just got to run the ball through. So, and again, natural acceleration, which is good. So, and it's good. Bear Nips, JC comeback player of the year. I think it could. Yep.
Let's go. Dude,
and
you imagine JC Jackson out there and what he could do. If he comes back as Mr. INT, this defense is going to go on a whole new level, brother. It's going to be great.
100%. And Achilles Smith, yes, Stone Swart did make the roster.
Yep.
And Alfredo, Hinton is more of a finished product. Yeah, Clark is raw. He'll be on the practice squad. I don't think he'll go anywhere else. Now, again, this is a concern of mine, Alan. Yeah, Doss will get picked up by another team. Again, I go back and say a lot of teams don't want to pick up other people's teams to some degree just because they're not ready to go week 1. Now, if they're just like, okay, we just want to keep away from the Chargers, okay, that's fine. But I do think that there's an opportunity, for Doss to come back on, if not Hightower potentially, but it sounds like we said Hightower, he's not coming back, which is kind of odd to me, but maybe they got some ideas on that. So, yeah,
absolutely. Yep. I'm excited to be able to see what he could do this year, though. I'm excited. I really do think that this D-line is going to be a different D-line than we've had last year. I think it's going to be a very refined D-line. I think our tight end group's going to be really solid too.
Yeah, and Trey McKitty is a good example of Alfredo here as well too. He talked about he uses tight ends like fullbacks. Yeah, so he uses them very interoperably. I do think there's a lot to be said about this. Okay, week 1 score predictions, guys. Throw that in the chat right now. What are your guys' thoughts? Oh, Kyle says here, go prediction 33-20. Wow. Okay. Now I think we're gonna have a much better defense than that. Personally, I think they might only get 17 points. I think 33-17 makes sense to me. Or 24-17.
I was thinking 34-21, and we're going to have 34, and they're going to have just a couple like trash-based, touchdowns to kind of get up to 21.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be like game's already over at that point.
Yeah, so. I'm basically thinking that they're going to have a late fourth quarter touchdown, maybe kind of rally trying to get into it, back in the game, but it's not going to be enough. But I do believe that the Dolphins do have a pretty high powered offense. I mean, they got super speed, so I'm like, well, I don't know. So that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think we're just saying that we think our defense is going to be much improved. I think we're definitely going to be great. And Hoosman has not landed anywhere as far as I understand. And Dugan will keep you guys posted on all that, right? So if Hoosman gets signed, we'll put it in on YouTube or whatever. We'll definitely keep you guys posted on where they end up. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Oh, but the Bull Babes are talking about your beard. Okay. They want to rub your beard for good luck. No, by the way, this is interesting. I also think, guys, we're going to see a lot of rotation of our wide receivers. I do not think that Keenan will take all snaps, right? I think Q is going to be out there. I think Mike Williams is going to be out there. I think Darius Davis is going to be out there. You even saw it in preseason, folks. Like, there were different personnel groupings that came in and came out at different times. And so I suspect the same thing will happen as well, too. Brandon Staley always likes to keep his ones ready to go for the fourth quarter, for the final push. Yep. So he's not going to just wear them out at the beginning of the game. So I do think it's going to be good. Yep. Yeah. And QJ Allen, this is an interesting point, right? If you recall, we were on our live during the draft. He was on our number one, but he wasn't also on anyone's number one for the Chargers at all. So, we thought Zay Flowers would be a guy, and he was available. But here's my point. His upside is huge. He's 6'4", fast. Again, his hands need to improve a little bit, right? But he gets open, and his yards after the catch are big. I do think he's having these drops because he's thinking too much about his next move and not just catching the ball and making the move, right? He's sometimes just thinking a little too much.
That was the first game jitters in a sense. So it was pretty tough, but yeah. So, I mean, I think he's going to get better as the season goes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so, exactly. I mean, and maybe like it was just the yips too, it's just a little first game being on the NFL. That's probably all it was. So,
playoffs.
I gotta bolt out of here, guys, but do you guys want to keep going, or are you guys?
Yeah, we'll keep going. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll keep going. There's only a few more minutes left. So
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Hey, excited about the 53-man roster. We'll talk about the practice squad here shortly too, guys. So see you guys out of here. I'm out of here. James out from the Bolt Bros.
See you, bro.
We got to bro down.
Peace.
Yeah. I know we got a few more thoughts here, but we'll just wrap up here pretty soon. So
yeah.
And I think what's more important, first game in Miami, positive defense outlet or offense. I think all the above, but I do think bottom line, this team is ready to go, man. I do believe that it is, dude, they're ready, man. The defense is looking sharp. I think we're going to be a top 10 defense for sure. So
absolutely. I mean, and like we said, all we need to really be is a top 15 defense, and then we're greatly improved on that,
This is great. How did the Chargers match up the Arizona Cardinals? Oh boy, they are going to be a spectacular failure this year. They're going to be just about as bad as the Rams. I mean, oh my God,
absolutely.
That division, horrible. Yep.
Yeah.
Rams and Cardinals, terrible.
Yeah, they quickly announced that they're basically in a rebuild phase, right?
Yes.
Like at the end of last season. So it's like, they're not really going to go anywhere this year for sure.
Yeah, and Two-Gun Pedro, AJ Finley. No, I'm not surprised. I actually really liked him quite a bit. I think AJ Finley's a very good special team player. I think he's very good. He's very instinctive. I know Brandon Staley really likes him, so we'll see. But again, he's more of a special team guy at the moment right now. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. What's the appropriate level of shit talking? Eagles level or nothing, right? I mean, it's man, I'll tell you, dude, it's people just love to talk shit. Boy, I tell you, it's gonna be really interesting. September 8th, season opener, primer playmaker host Haley Edwood breaking down the matchup with special guest Andrew. Woo! I like that idea. What's up, Haley? Hit me up, girl. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, I think Zach Bailey is gonna be on the practice squad. I think very much they want him there, but we'll see. Again, he's got to clear waivers. Other teams can scoop him up. It's the nice thing about the NFL is that you can't just hide people away, right? They have the ability to get other players so they can play.
Yeah, exactly. So
here we go. Bolt Babes did answer that question. Many NFL players on the practice squad before finding success. James Harrison, Adrian Phillips, Jason Peters, Daniel Mendola, Danny Wood. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Bolt Babe. We did not know that. I like that. Yeah, Daniel Mendola, I do remember that. Actually, good point. Yeah, and Danny Woodhead for sure. I do remember him. So
yeah, and I actually looked it up too. Actually, Adam Thielen was also in that category as well.
Adam Thielen. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and guys, like, look. At the end of the day, it also matters what team you're on, right? I think Hightower made a really good point. At least according to James, when he met his what was his brother Kyle that he met,
Was
John
it his,
Hightower's brother,
or is it as like a cousin or something like that? Someone relative. Yeah,
so something age. Yeah, he did not like being on the Eagles. He hated them.
right.
So
Crazy.
he didn't. I don't know if he didn't like the coaches or what, right?
Maybe he didn't like the fans too.
Oof. Fans can be brutal.
Yeah.
Fans can be brutal.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. Stone Smart threw a hell of a block. Guys, remember, he was a quarterback, folks, and he's turning into a tight end. You remember that idiot, Tim Teblows? That guy bugged the absolute hell out of me. You remember how he refused to be like a tight end? They wanted him to switch over to a tight end because he's a big dude. He's a big freaking dude. This is a great example of someone that put his ego aside and said, screw it. I want to play football. Let's go do it. So I look at Stone Smart and it's like, he's kind of giving the middle finger to Tim Teblows, man. But you know what? That he is what he is. So I hated him in the league. He just annoyed me so much. Oh my God.
We got a super chat here now. Yeah, that's what's up. Put that one up.
Okay. Let's go to, we'll get to it. Here we go. This is Aether's, my prediction 23 and 27, 23 defense shines, offense struggle a little bit, but they didn't play in the preseason. I could see that as well too. It'll be very interesting. I think this will be great. Allen, 38 and 17. I like that. I like that. And GTR, man, I like that too. I do think DD will be used often. Okay. From Kelsey Hammer. Thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate it. What's more important for the offense to get stride or the defense? And which side of the ball has a better week one? I would say the defense. I think the defense is looking absolutely stellar. I do think the offense is always going to be a little rusty. Always. Every year. Matt Money Smith talks about it. Everyone that I've ever, it's always working the kinks out, right? You're not getting a lot of, heavy reps. But what are your thoughts on that, James or Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, like we'll definitely kind of take note of all the teams that actually did play the starters through preseason, at least for like a drive or so, and then and then compare how we do and some of the other teams that did not start them. I honestly do think that we're going to be a little flat on the offensive side just because of how things won't go for us or whatever. But I think defensively, we'll still be pretty rock solid there.
Yeah,
so,
dude, Asante is going to blow up. JC, I think is going to play very well. Dude, I'm not joking, guys. I think we're a top 10 defense this year. I really do. I think our defensive line is going to be stout. We stopped the run a lot in preseason. You can argue all day what's preseason, but who cares? Guys, it does not matter. We did great. And it's the same defense we ran last time as well, too. So, and REM, I do think it is nationally televised. If I remember correctly, is it on isn't it is it ESPN? I can't remember if it's on ESPN or not. I have to look it up.
For which game?
The first game of the season, Miami.
No, Miami. ESPN's only Monday night games. We're not a Monday night game.
Okay, so is it nationally televised? Is REM's question?
No, it probably won't be. I think it's just going to be, like a 1 o'clock game here. Maybe CBS or NBC or something like that. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. And then you can always find it. So Brian says, I don't think QJ is a good contested catch receiver. He'll get better, Brian, right? And again, these are things that he's got to focus on, right? And the nice thing about going to the NFL is you have an opportunity to definitely improve your craft, right? I don't know if you saw his last press conference about a week and a half ago. He talked quite a bit about that. And I did a video on it, kind of in response to his video regarding his drops. He realizes he can't drop the ball. He also realizes he needs to be more aggressive with the ball. So those are the two things he needs to focus on. So, and we'll go from there. And Kelsey said 21 and 14. I like it. Andrew, don't be jealous. Rub your invisible beard just like Kyle. Okay, thank you, Bull Babe. Sounds good to me. Yeah. Yeah. And guys, I think this is the whole point. I think Kellen Moore is going to score and run up the score like crazy. Lombardi just ran a very different type of offense. And again, remember, he's unlocking Justin Herbert. He's allowing Herbert to run the offense just like Peyton Manning did, or, even Phil Rivers. So he's going to be audible. Here's the thing. He wants the defense to not know what's happening. So they go up there. Oh, it's a run play. Okay. Nope. We're checking out of it and it's going to be a pass play. Oh crap. Well, we lined up as a run play, right? So they want the defense to be in conflict the whole time. So that's the nice thing that Herbert has. He has the ability to make those changes at the line. It's going to be pretty big. Let's see. Yeah, and you're right. Cardinals are probably tanking on purpose. Guess what? They want Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to be it's Caleb Williams, Kyle, for sure. That's the only guy that everyone wants to talk about. I mean, he's going to be pretty sick.
All right.
Out of USC. Again, thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. I'm trying to think where we're at here. Okay. 33-13. I like that. Week 1, high desert heat. Good to see you here. You know, and again, I really think our defense is going to be great, right? I do believe, though, that, you know, again, we were almost, 4th or 5th in the league against the pass. We were just horrible at the run. If we can just stop the run a little more, we're fine. If we could just stay where we were at against the pass, we're great. Okay. Aether says, per Adam Scheffler, Colts need 2 first rounds for Taylor. NFL team says, no, sir, too much. And he is not. That makes perfect sense. I wouldn't trade 2 first rounds for him. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
too
right.
much.
That's way too much. Yeah.
So okay. It's going to be a hell of a week. Game 1. Oh yeah, we're going to squish the fish. Achilles Smith. We are going to squish the fish.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love it. Okay. Here's my bold prediction. Easton Stick finishes the game in the 4th quarter. I love that idea. So that would be amazing. Oh, here we go. I like that idea, GTR, man. I should make a fake beard. You know what? I should have like a fake, like, you know, paper mache one, or like one I can get like
there you go
from the spirit store or something like that. Actually, I do have one. I have one in my closet.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
it's all itchy though. It's itchy.
You got to fit in with the bros a little bit more, you know? Yeah. Like.
And David Moa did not make the 53-man roster. He most likely will end up on the practice squad. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yep,
so
we are going to go live again tomorrow, and we will talk about the practice squad and dive into that with you guys again tomorrow about the same time.
Around the same time, yes, exactly. So, So I think, what time was it exactly, Kyle? That's coming out.
Well, it's 24 hours from now. Is that they have to be cleared on their waivers, and so that's when they'll be starting to sign for the end of the day. So
So we will be going live as soon as that comes out as well, too, folks. So yes, I'm excited to talk about that. The 50-man roster is great, but like you saw last year, we needed the practice squad. We took a lot from the practice squad, and we brought more people on. Guys, remember, David Moa was on the Falcons practice squad when we picked him up last season. Okay, and he played. So, you know, it's going to be really interesting. And who is the Miami Dolphins save tuna fish starting running back? Boy, that's a good question. Boy, I don't know. You know, a lot of people keep singing Taylor, but I don't think they're going to give them enough to get Taylor over there if that's what they want. So, whew. Yeah. So we need to find out a little bit more about the Bolt Babes. You know, they keep coming in. We don't really know them very well. I guess they met Kyle, but you know, we'll see.
Yeah, probably if it was at Thunder Alley, I apologize because it's just chaos there, man.
Hey, Kyle has a good time at Thunder Alley for sure.
Yeah. And you can't threaten me with a good time.
That's right. Yeah, let's taco about it. Okay. Bold prediction: Herbert will average 356 yards, 2 TDs every game, MVP. Again, we keep talking, 50 touchies this next season, right? All right, so I think I guess we're right there. So I guess we can get close to ending here. But again, we're going to go live again tomorrow. More updates today if things pop up. If we get more information, we'll go from there. But Kyle, final thoughts before we wrap up? We're right about an hour at this moment.
So I mean, there's only a few players that I was kind of shocked about for the team. I mean, AJ Finley was kind of the big one for me that that I was kind of like, oh wow, it's cool to see him on there. But I'm excited for the team, man. Like there's a lot to be said about it. And hey, let's just keep going, man. Like I'm excited. I do know that I'm really more interested to see what's happening with the practice squad at this point, because a lot of the players that we really liked should be ending up there. And I hope that we get some of these players that we saw in camp that, are going to make the team. And I really hope to see them there. So, my first prediction is, of course, I believe Max Duggan is still going to be on the Chargers, and we're going to see him on that practice squad tomorrow.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious if we sign someone like a Will Greer. Instead of Dugan, who knows, right? Again, Tom Telesco literally said we're looking at other people's teams as well. So I'm very curious, folks. I'm very curious to see what's going on. And think of it this way, folks. It's basically like another draft right now.
Yeah.
So there's a whole big pool of players that are just out there, and they go through this rotation of worst to first. Like I think it's the Cardinals, then it's like the I saw the list just earlier today. Chargers are like 22nd or 23rd down the list to choose. Then they can start getting their players and moving forward from that point on. So very interesting to see how that plays out. I'm excited. I think Darius Davis is a lot like a Tyreek Hill. I think that's probably what you mean by that, but and again, you're right. This is the most stacked the Chargers have ever been. I mean, we are very deep, folks. We are very deep. The other conversation, again, we did talk, and by the way, Gerard Clark did not make the squad. Guys, I'm just excited for this team. And again, we're going to go live again tomorrow. Any more news that happens after we jump off, we're going to try and upload it as much as possible. We'll get you shorts. Check us out on Instagram, on the YouTubes. Obviously, you're on YouTube now, and Facebook and all the above. So, guys, lots to cover there, but we're excited. This is great. Any last thoughts there, Kyle?
Nope. I already said my last thoughts.
I know. But I'm just saying, like we've covered a lot. So, all right, I'll hit the button, and we'll go live again tomorrow. Thank you, GTR, man. Appreciate it.
Woo!
And
let's do it.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
We are the Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Let's go.